Hello. Welcome back to Gossip and Guidance with your host, Hiromi. From wherever you're watching or listening, thank you so much for being here. Today, I have another guest, aka Latina Beauty. How are you, girl?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm so excited to be here.
I know. Did you guys expect this? I didn't either.
No, me either.
None of us. It just fucking happened.
I feel like it's so crazy because we met each other, like, I want to say 2 weeks ago, officially. Online.
Yeah.
And then now here we are.
Yeah. Thank you so much, actually.
No, I love it.
It means a lot. Like, I'm like, hey, podcast or what?
Podcast.
She was down. Because I told her, I was like, you don't have to do it today. We can do it another day.
No, and I was so down. The moment that I found out that you had a podcast, I was like, I'm on there.
Yeah.
I'm there. I need to be with my friend.
I know. I was like, oh my God. And she doesn't even live that far away from me. She lives 45 minutes.
I'm 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I took my first drive out here today.
Yeah.
I don't like long drives. If anybody knows me, I don't like long drives. But it's really not that bad.
It's not that bad because it's a straight road.
Yeah, like it's literally freeway. Yeah. I like it. So I will definitely be bringing my tent.
Yeah. She's like, I'll be back next week.
I'll see you guys later.
Well, tell them a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Maria. I go by Latina Beauty on the internet. Mm-hmm. I am a cannabis and a makeup influencer.
Okay.
I started more so as a cannabis influencer. Do I have to make eye contact with them?
No. Miriam was looking at me the entire time.
Okay, perfect. I was like, fuck, I'm talking to people.
No. You don't have to. Here and there, like, I'll look over there, but I'm usually just...
Okay, I was like, mirror. Which one? But I'm both. I'm mainly cannabis, I want to say, because that's like one of the main things that I tend to do on most of my platforms. But makeup and like TikTok, because you can't do that on there. You know? TikTok's very strict. Yeah, very, very strict. Mm-hmm. So if you even try it, you're done. Yeah. So I don't do that on there. But basically, I've been doing social media now for like, I want to say 8 years. Okay. It just started with me just fucking getting high on Instagram, and it just went viral.
And it just went from there?
And I just kept going, and then I started posting on YouTube. YouTube took off, and then I started doing my TikToks, and then TikTok, did decent. And so I feel like it's been an interesting journey. Besides that, I'm just a little crackhead.
Should be up late, girl.
Let me tell you something. Last night I was like, it's like literally like 10 p.m. They're like, girl, it's 4. 4 a.m.
She's a little night owl.
Yeah, I do. I am very much a night owl. And then also, I feel like whenever I'm sipping, it's like I almost like me despierto. Mm-hmm. So it's like a little bit like that. But yeah, basically I do social media, and I'm learning how to be a human day by day.
But so one day you just said, oh, I'm gonna just record myself getting high. Yeah, and it just happened.
It's because I remember seeing like a few other people doing it on Instagram. Okay. And so I was like, you know what? I'm smoke all the time. So I'm just why don't I do a video or two? Yeah. And I started doing the videos, and they started doing numbers, and I was like, oh. And
you're like, this is for me.
I might be able to do something with this. You know what I mean? And then after that, people were like, oh, like, we like your makeup. Like, you should show us how you do your makeup. And I was like, I remember specifically, it was February 14th when it was the first makeup look that I did as a tutorial. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do a tutorial, and I'm going to smoke in it. Yeah. And that did amazing. Then I kept posting on Instagram. Then I posted it on YouTube. The first one I posted, I feel like did really decent. Yeah. So then after that, I was like, that's the one. That's the one.
No, honestly, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I was working at Winterstitchel and Baja Fresh at the time. Well, I was kind of like fired from Baja Fresh a little bit. But I was working at Winterstitchel for sure. Yeah. And I basically quit because I was just kind of like, but let me see what happens if I just focus on like YouTube. And then I just never looked back.
And I usually feel like that's what you have to do. Yeah. You need like that push, right? Because obviously if you stay in your comfort zone, you're never going to want to do better, like do you know what I mean, like chase the money, obviously, because we all have to work, sadly, in this fucking life, because bills, they don't play themselves. Nothing is free, sadly. And so one way or another we have to make money, but what better way to make it while you're chilling?
Literally. I feel like when I first started doing it, I was just having the time of my fucking life, and I still do these days, but it is fuck, bitch. You know how hard it is to get high as fuck sometimes
and record, huh?
And then do your whole full blown makeup, and then you can't always do the same one, because they're gonna be like, yeah, girl, if you don't bust out some fucking rhinestones right now, like, bitch, girl, if you don't give me another look right now.
No, so I seen your videos. I see you on Instagram first, before I think I seen you on TikTok. I seen you on Instagram, and I was like, oh my god, those big old clouds. I was like, I would be passed out. Dude, and then she pops in with her transition as makeup. I'm like, damn, period, sis.
There's been times where I have to like literally do it the next day, because I'm literally just like, okay. So now I try to even do it before it's the day before. Oh, okay. Because I need to drink some fucking milk. Yeah. That's just it's fun. But girl.
So fuck, dude. I feel like you just want to chill, huh? Like, you just
and there's a lot of good devices on the market, so I feel like that's the other thing. It's like I'm using all these great devices and they're getting me high as fuck. So now I'm just like, well, this was fun. Yeah.
Thank you for the device.
Yeah, I know. Like, so I love it. I feel like it's a very big blessing, and I'm very grateful for it, because I mean, I know I would have been doing some. I probably would have been in a salon somewhere. Yeah, for sure. But I never would have pictured
like this.
Yeah, no.
So every product that they send you, you just get to keep it.
Yeah.
Oh shit, girl, you must have a lot.
I do, but then I don't, because a lot of them end up fucking breaking, man. Like, I have so many bongs that have broken. I have so many pieces that have either like their transmission went out, like they fucking broke. They don't work no more. Okay. So I do have a good amount though, but it's almost also hard to keep them, because they start to like, what was that word be, like weather? They start to like get the feitos. Yeah. Questionable. Yeah. Like you don't even want to clean it anymore, because it still looks not even like glass. Yeah. You're like, you know what? I think I just need to give you up. Like, it's done. Yeah. So I do have a good collection though. I would like to think.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine. And I mean, the good thing is that you live here in California, because I recently went to Texas not too long ago, and it's like not legal over there. So I was like, what the fuck?
That's scary.
Yeah. And like you can get arrested, and I'm like, oh my god.
That's terrifying.
It is.
There's certain places where I'm like, I would love to go there, but I'm like, oh, girl. What are you trying to say?
You're like, you're not telling me I can't pack my pants.
First of all, I'm going to jail. And you know what I just realized? I don't know if I told you, I don't think you were up this morning when I said this, but I realized today that if I ever go to jail, they take my tooth with them. Because I can use it as a weapon. If you really think about it.
Did you randomly think about this?
Yeah, I was brushing my teeth and I was like washing it, and I was like, they would take this away from me if I ever went to jail, because it's a weapon.
And then you only have one?
Yeah.
Okay. She's a transformer.
So, you know.
Well, what happened? How come you only have that one side? Did it have
with my teeth, what had happened was that cuando estaba bien chiquita, before we got taken away from my mom, she didn't take us to the dentist or anything. Oh, okay. So when we went in and they took us to the dentist for the first time, all of my back teeth were rotten. All of my teeth were fucking rotten. So they had to take all of them out. I had to get surgery, and they extracted all of them. And they extracted this one, which was an adult tooth already. So it never came back. It was adult already. So thanks a lot, Mom.
Like, Mom.
Like, bye.
Well, talking about now, you're bringing your mom. Okay, wait. So wait. Did you tell us what your horoscope is?
I'm a Taurus.
Oh yeah, like my mama. My mama's a Taurus. What day is your birthday?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Oh shoot, my sister-in-law, my brother's girlfriend, is May 3rd. And my mom is May 15th. A lot of
people are in May these days.
Right.
I'm like, these days, like it hasn't been for years.
around these days.
I'm getting to know more people.
Okay, so we're gonna read her horoscope. So if you're a Taurus, listen up. Miriam's was really on point. It was really on point.
I want to hear mine.
You want to hear yours? Okay, we're gonna do it at the end. Okay. Okay. So now you bring up your mom into this. You want to talk about your childhood? Like, how was your childhood? How was it growing up for you?
So, I think the earliest memory I have, I want to say, is probably like 5. I think there's scattered memories beyond that, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember too much, but what I do remember is just it was chaotic. It was very abusive. It was just very toxic. It was crazy.
Was your mom a single mom too, or you had both of your parents at the time?
Well, she had a few men, you know.
Yeah. I comprehend.
She was alone, but she wasn't alone.
Yeah.
Alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where she kind of like she had kids at a really young age. She was 13 when she got pregnant with her first one, 14 when she got pregnant with me, and she just kept fucking having kids.
How many?
We're 8 total.
8. Oh,
we're 8 total, and by the time she was fucking 20, she had like 4. I think 4 or 3, I want to say.
Okay.
So imagine being 20 and having that many fucking kids.
Yeah. Shit, it's a lot already.
Yeah, it's
like
a
with
lot.
One.
I don't know why she didn't.
Yeah.
That's none of my business. But she just kept having us. And so I think it just was like really overwhelming for her. She still wanted to party. She was
young.
Yeah, and she was obsessed with like men. She was very obsessed with men and like their validation. And so I feel like it almost like blurred her vision just for the simple fact that I think she kept having us for them. But then like,
I see.
No se quedan. You know
it's because
a
lot of women still have that mentality that a man is going to stay if you give him a kid. And unfortunately, we do not live in that era anymore. Not unfortunately, because sometimes it would kind of suck to be stuck to one man.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be with you, and that's how it was back then.
That's very depressing. Very depressing, and a lot of times becomes abusive.
Yes,
which is how it ends up being.
Yes, most of the time. Yeah. And back then, and say like I know a lot of our grandparents. You know, we go back to generations. Like they went through shit, but you would think like your grandparents are they're perfect little angels, but I know my grandpa you fucking around. You fucked around. You know what I'm saying?
But like I remember, my grandma told me.
But like they stayed quiet back then. Women, I guess they just sucked it up more. Yeah, you know,
which sucks. I love that I feel like in this generation we're learning how to like not.
Yes, and defend ourselves. That's be more stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't want us to be stronger.
No, that's not saying.
Let's not go there.
Sugar tea. But then after that it was just one of those things where it wasn't a good place. Yeah. So eventually CPS did get involved and they ended up removing all of us. Well, it was 5 at the time when they removed us, which is a lot of kids to remove and try to place. I don't remember so much. I wish I could remember. No, maybe I don't. My little sister remembers way more than I do. And it's kind of scary when she tells me some of the stories. I'm like, damn, bitch, my brain just completely said, like, delete.
And that's what happens. Usually your brain will protect you from trauma. And sometimes it blocks a little way too much because it's trying to protect you from whatever you experienced or saw. And that's the brain, you know.
I feel like I still deal with that to this day, where it's almost like my brain hasn't learned how to turn it off, and I still forget everything. It's not my fault.
It's not her fault.
It's not her fault. I can't help it.
Sometimes it's like every human is different, right? It's different in many, many ways. But I feel like sometimes, it depends. I feel like sometimes your body knows what you can handle and can't handle, you know, and sometimes it just guards you from seeing or from hurting even more,
which is kind of like weird when you think about it, but it's amazing.
Right. It's like weird at the same time because there's a lot of things too that my brother remembers. Not that like it was like, you know, extreme or anything, but there's a lot of things that he remembers and I'm like, what?
I don't remember.
When did that happen? You know?
I think I remember I had posted a YouTube video when I was doing YouTube, and I had like talked about my story and everything, and I remember one of my siblings telling me like, that's not what the story was, and I was like, well, That was
you.
My story.
Yes.
My story is not your story.
Yes.
Your story looks completely different than my story, even though we were like in each other's paths for a while. We split. You know what I mean?
And that's the crazy thing that the last podcast that we had, we read a form, and it was somebody to like her mom passed away, the dad remarried. It was like a really like not a good stepmom, so they went through like a lot of things, and so she told her story, and then later on she messaged me telling me that her sisters were pretty much like on her, texting her and telling her like, oh, you made us look bad, and like that's not how it went, all this. So she was like, this was my story, like to me this is how it went. I'm like, yes, just because you come from the same household or the same parent, it doesn't mean that you guys all go through the same thing.
Exactly.
It's just me and my brother, and we have completely different childhoods, even though we came from the same household from the same parents.
Also, you guys aren't gonna deal with everything with the same emotions.
Yes, exactly. Like I feel more. My brother doesn't really express himself much. I do. Like I cry. I'm very sensitive. I'm like an empath person, so I always put myself in other people's shoes and all that. I guess I think about way more about the situation than he does. And then it just, his childhood was different. You know, like he was one of the first persons that I did have in this podcast, and honestly, ever since that podcast, I feel like we became closer because there's a lot of things that I didn't even know, and like I kind of felt like a shitty ass sister, to be honest. I remember we started crying, and I had to like say sorry for a lot of things that I didn't realize I did, you know. So sorry, you were saying so.
No, but that's really beautiful though. I think that was so healing for both of you.
Yeah, it was definitely very healing.
That's very beautiful.
Start crying right now.
Hurry up.
So your sister pretty much tried to tell you that's not how you're.
No, that was a whole completely different sibling. But what I was coming from that was when we got taken away. I don't remember much, but I just remember.
So you were around 5 when you got taken away?
Yeah, I was 5 or 6. No, I think I might have been 6 because my first birthday was 7.
Okay.
I remember the candle.
Okay.
So I think I was 6, and at that point, like our family members had called CPS on her because they were just like, this is crazy the way the way that she was treating us, because there's a point where we were literally just like living in a truck and she was just driving around with us, chilling in there, and she would just go to her fucking kickbacks.
And you guys would be in the truck?
Yeah, we'd just be in the truck. I'll never forget one memory when we woke up in the back, and me and my brother were like, where's our mom? So then we get up and we try to go out. There was fucking Rottweilers outside, bitch. I was so scared. I was so fucking scared. I started crying.
Oh my God.
They did not get us.
Yeah.
Because they ended up hearing like the chaos outside. But that's like one memory I have, where it's just us. We would just be in the truck all the time. So by that point, our family was just they saw the abuse. They saw the neglect. They saw that nothing was changing. And I feel like in their eyes, they felt like they couldn't do much more. There was a lot of kids. It's 5. And so when CPS got involved, I still remember this part where we were in a van and my mom was just putting stuff in the trunk, and my aunt was on the phone. She's like, you need to go, like they're coming, they're gonna come right now, they're coming. And so then she just like looks at us and she's like, goodbye, I love you guys. She gets in the car with her boyfriend and then she drives off. That is the end of my memory. And it's crazy, this is the part where I was telling you like the things that we don't remember that sometimes other people remember.
Yeah.
That was the end of the story for me. After that, they drove us to the office and that was it. Like that was it. I didn't know. Oh, I think actually my sister, my aunt told her this, and she basically told her that when that happened, I chased after the car.
But you don't remember
screaming.
that?
No, I don't remember that at all. And I feel like that's like probably such a blessing, because that was probably so traumatic to like literally know that your mom is saying goodbye, and to be able to like comprehend it in a sense was like for a young age, I think was just very like traumatic, and which is why the brain blocked it out. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then after that, I went to CPS, and the first home was like decent.
Did they separate you guys?
The first one, they kept us all together. Oh wait, no, the first one was not decent. I forgot, it was that one witch. So the first one, they kept us all together, but the foster mom she just literally just put us in our rooms and like would call it a fucking day, like, and make sure we ate like when we were supposed to eat. So
just kind of like she collected the check, you guys were safe, and that's it.
Yes.
Bare minimum.
Yes. And she was very mean. That's all I can remember about her. And I don't remember much because I was very young. Yeah. But then that one didn't last long. We moved.
And I don't know so much about obviously the foster situation and stuff, or foster homes. why do you guys get moved so much? Is it because the foster parent requested, or because you guys requested?
The first one was, I think, because they realized that she was like abusive.
Oh, okay.
The second one, they'll have different like reasons, and so I feel like it varies from each one.
Yeah.
So with the first one, it was just the fact that the foster mom, I think they realized that she was like a POS, so they ended up moving all of us, and then they kept me and two of my other siblings together, and then the other two were together. And so that was 3 and 2. So we're separated kind of almost like in half. Then it was 2, and then 1, because one got separated from us. Then after that, me and my brother were in that one, but we ended up getting moved from that one because it was one of those homes where the foster mom had like a grandchild living with her, and she was very like, you're not my kid. You need to treat him like he's a fucking, you know what I mean?
Praise to him.
Yeah, and I don't remember much about this particular foster home, but what I do remember is that it really makes me mad now that I think about it when I'm older, because I think when I was younger I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
But the little boy that they had there was like a fucking weirdo. And basically, like, I don't remember like exactly how it happened, but he was doing some inappropriate things with me, and my brother caught him and beat the fuck out of him. And then what happened?
And your brother was older than you.
Yeah. So then what happened? She's like, oh my God, like you need to, I'm going to leave you here stranded. And I was like, girl, well, now you can leave 2 kids stranded. She did not leave her stranded, but then we ended up getting moved out of that one. Yeah. Because there was that conflict. Then in our third one, that one ended up being, the third one was one that we stayed in for like 3 years. And that one was a really good one. That one was like, I think I want to say it was almost like a dream foster home in a sense.
And it was you and your brother only too?
It was only me and my brother. Eventually, they ended up getting another one of my brothers. So it was 3 of us there. Okay. So it was nice. It was a really good foster home. It was like they taught us what holidays were. I feel like taught us manners. I feel like they kind of just taught us just how to be decent human beings. And I feel like when I think about it sometimes,
guidance. They provided the guidance that kids needed.
A lot of guidance. Yeah. And it was in foster homes, you're not supposed to like spank or do anything like that. But in this home we did get spankings, but I feel like they did it in a sense of like just correcting us in an appropriate way. You know what I mean? 'Cause,
like they weren't beating the fuck out of you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I'm not one of those people that's like, I think I shy away from the whole spanking thing because it's like a little traumatizing for me. Yeah. But I know for a fact that there are some people that do spank their kids and they're not doing it because they want to like, you know, beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah, trust me, I got spanked too. I fucking got whooped. Okay? I ate it.
So it was one of those things where it was almost like a normal home, you know. The only thing that was bad was that eventually, I think it was the first birthday of one of my little foster brothers. Oh, okay. And he was turning 1, and we had got a bounce house, had threw a party. It was so much fun. It was great. I think I want to say I was a year into this placement. Yeah. And
they didn't have no kids of their own?
No. Oh, okay. So, but they had, I think at this time they had 6 foster kids.
Oh, okay.
So it was us, me, my 2 siblings, and then 2 other siblings. Oh, okay. And then 1 single one. Oh, okay. And then a baby ended up coming later on in the future. But it was a full house. I feel like that's what I loved the most about it, which is that we were always surrounded by kids. We were always surrounded by family. It was amazing. But when we had that birthday party, we had a bounce house, and that bounce house we ended up keeping overnight because they didn't come pick it up. Yeah. So we all were like, oh, so it would just be so much fun to just like go sleep in the bounce house. Like we should just all go sleep in the bounce house. Uh-huh. So me, all my cousins, my foster dad, we're all like, we're gonna sleep in the bounce house. We're gonna sleep in the bounce house. We're all so fucking stoked because like we get to sleep in the fucking bounce house.
Yeah. As a kid, I was like fucking amazing.
Yeah, like that's amazing. Yeah. And I remember my foster mom was like, I'm going inside. I'm not sleeping out here. She took the baby, the one that just turned 1. Yeah. She was like, if anybody wants to come in with me, come in with me. If not, you know, like go ahead and stay there. None of us went. Yeah. And so it was really exciting, but after that, I think being so young, and I think so, I guess in a sense, and I don't want to say naive because it was probably just innocence.
Yeah.
Where I was just like so excited to be like, I was like, I'm going to sleep next to dad. Like, I'm going to sleep next to my dad. Like, you know what I mean? At that point, I had been there for a year. So I feel like as a young kid, you attach really fast to foster parents. Mm-hmm. So I was like just so excited to like sleep next to dad. I was like, I'm going to sleep next to dad. I'm going to sleep next to dad. Everything was good until everybody's asleep and I'm asleep. And then I just feel somebody grabbing me. And I'll never forget, like, kind of waking up and, like, realizing it. And then I remember trying to move under my, like, foster sister's blanket because she was right next to me. And I couldn't get the blanket to, like, pick up. I think she was, like, on it or something.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, him just, like, pulling me back and was just like, oh, you could just be under my blanket. And that's when it started. And we ended up staying there for another 2 years. So it was 3 years total. We were about to go through with the adoption process. It was...
And did he only do that once?
No, it went on. After that time, it like just slowly started happening. And then it just happened more and more and more and more. And the one person who started catching on to it was my older brother. He started catching on to it whenever he would do like slick shit, whenever my foster mom wasn't around. And so he was the one that would kind of almost question me sometimes. But I think because I was so young, I was just kind of like, you know, like I don't, you know, I didn't really understand it. And it was one of those things where they manipulated to, it, like, for example, for him, his thing was, oh, you're just playing with dad. Like, we're just playing a game. Like, it's not.
And he never told you, don't tell mom. Or...
Well, no, yeah. He definitely told me, like, you know, this is not, like, this is our game. Like, if you like playing with me, like, you can't tell nobody. And if you tell somebody, you're going to get in trouble. So it was one of those things where I was just like, okay, like, I mean, like, I guess this is, like, fucking normal, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So that happened for a while. It never got to a point where there was any type of, like, penetration from him to me. Yeah. But it was just always, like, some...
The touching.
Yeah, the touchy, and then the whole rubbing thing. It was just a bunch of weird shit. Yeah. So eventually we were getting ready to go to get adopted, and we were celebrating. We went to the Great Wolf Lodge, and we were celebrating the adoption. Yeah. And that's when my older brother was just kind of like, I need you to tell me, like, is there something going on? Like, you know what I mean? Because we were getting so close to adoption, and I think his anxiety was just like, he knew something was happening. Yeah. And I finally was just like, okay, yes. Okay, let me backtrack real quick. One thing that solidified it for him was right before that, there was one time where my foster mom was gone, and he had called me into the room for a massage. And a lot of the times when we would do these massages for him, we would do them for him, and we would have like a timer. Oh, okay. And so it wasn't something like out of the ordinary in a sense. Yeah. But my brother caught on to it this time because he didn't take the timer. And he just went in the room. He called me in the room and then locked the door behind him. So I think it's crazy because this would have been the time that he probably would have tried to penetrate. But my brother knocks on the door and he's just like, you forgot the timer. So then he's just like, hurry up, like, just, you know. Then I just, like, pretend like I'm, like, sitting there giving him a massage or whatever. And my brother's like, you guys forgot the timer. And I'll help her with the massage. So then he stayed in there, and I remember him, like, mouthing to me. He was like, are you okay? And I was just like, no, I'm fine. Like, it's fine. Everything's fine. So then when we went to the Great Wolf Lodge, that's when he was just kind of like, I need you to tell me. Like, is there something happening? And that's what I finally did. I was just like, yeah, well, like, there is. Like, there is stuff that's happening. And then he went straight to the room where my foster mom and foster dad were at, and he just called him out and was just like, you're fucking sick. Like, why would you do that? Like, how the fuck could you do that? My foster mom was just caught so off guard. And after that, I remember she took me and my foster dad into a room and kind of was like discussing it. It was like, so tell me, like, what's been going on, like, what's been happening. And I was trying to explain it to her, but like I was like bawling, like I was in tears because like I didn't know, like I felt like I did something wrong.
And how old are you by then? Like 8, 9?
I think I was 11.
Oh, okay.
I was 11 at the time when we ended up leaving. So I was 11, and I just remember like him like explaining like, no, like I wasn't doing it like that. I was doing it like this. Like he would grab me, and like she was right there, and like I was just explaining to her like, no, like this is what's happening, like, you know. And she believed me at first.
Yeah,
she really believed me, and I full in my heart feel like she knew that it was true. After that, we packed up and we immediately started leaving to come back from leaving because the Great Wolf Lodge is in Washington.
Oh, okay.
So it was pretty far. We were
Yeah.
on a fucking road trip.
Yeah.
So then we ended up leaving, and as we're leaving, we stopped in Oregon because there was some of our luggage there. And so as we stop in Oregon, before we stop, I remember her telling me, she's like, get your shoes on. And we're like, why? What happened? And she was like, just get your shoes on. And we all get our shoes on, and once he parks to go get the stuff, she gets all of the kids off of the car, all of us. And she was just like, I'm like, you're fucked up. Like, I'm going to leave. I'll figure out a way for us to go back. Like, I'm not like, this is fucking crazy. Like, you know, she was just ready to leave.
Yeah.
And then he kind of convinced her, like, look, I'll drive you back and then just drop you and the kids off. I'll go somewhere else. Like, you're not going to have to worry about me, but just let me make sure you guys get back home safe. And so then she was like, okay, whatever. So then we ended up leaving. And then we go and we go back, and obviously she has to report it. And when she reported it, there was an investigation and all that stuff done. And so as that was happening, she had to decide whether she wanted to keep us or she was going to stay with him. Mind you, she already had adopted 3 of them. So there was 3 that were already adopted that if we got moved, they would still be in there. Regardless, they would still be there, you know? Because they're adopted. They're theirs. And so when it came to that, she chose to stay with him. So then we ended up moving out of that foster home. So then that was the reason for that one. So then we
Do you know if she's still with them to this day by any chance?
No. So fun fact, I don't think he was, I don't know exactly what his age was, but I don't think he was really that old. I want to say he was probably like either his early 30s or late 20s. After I had moved out, I want to say like 3-4 years after that, he ended up getting diabetes. He went blind. He was wheelchair bound.
Damn, karma works.
And then he died.
I'm so sorry, God, but karma works in mystery ways.
I always say this. I feel like the cops didn't handle him. Like there was no justice there. But what you reap is what you sow. And I feel like 100% the reason why he started losing his eyesight is for the things that he saw and the things that he did. And I feel like it was one of those things where it wasn't just like, oh, like, well, he passed. It was like he lost his ability to do things, which is one of those things where it was just like, well, I mean, I can't say I told you. No, but I think 100% that has a lot to do with the fact that what goes around comes around.
Yes, for sure.
If you're gonna do something like that, it's gonna come back.
I feel, and I do believe in karma 100%. I believe in good karma too. If you do good, you get good back, right? I do believe that too. I'm sorry, but he got what he deserved.
No, and I agree with that
because
too.
How you're becoming a foster parents to help kids that have already gone through shit, and then you're gonna traumatize them even more. Like, you're a piece of shit for that, and I hope he rots.
Yeah, and that's what I don't know what shoes he got on.
I don't know. Some people are there for the wrong reasons. They do it for the wrong. Most people do it for the wrong reasons.
I ended up talking to that foster mom as I became an adult because I was very curious. Like, what made you?
Yeah, like, you wanted that type of closure, though. Yeah, it's a type of closure.
And I was very grateful because she was willing to talk on the phone with me and everything. And we ended up talking on the phone. And when I asked her, I was just like, why did you do that? Like, I thought you believed me. She's like, I did. I believed you 100%. But I knew that if I didn't stay, he could have fought me for those kids. Because with the cop investigation, none of it was liable. CPS, it was solidified. Like, they had enough proof. They had significant proof. Yeah. But when it came to the cops, I don't know what the fuck happened there, to where it was like, well, they were like, well, we can't tell you if it did or if it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if she would have left him, he could have still fought for them because he doesn't have a charge. It's an allegation, but it's not a charge. And so she was like, I didn't want to risk him having to take them alone. And so I almost kind of understood it in a sense, but then I still was just kind of like,
yeah,
I feel like you could have figured out a way around that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially if eventually those allegations did go on his record, he wouldn't be able to take the kids.
Exactly.
You know, so I guess there was ways around it, but I guess she just didn't want to deal with it or find out what could potentially happen.
The only reason I feel like I side-eyed that a little bit is because one of the other reasons that I really wanted to talk to her was because when Bratz dolls came back out, because, you know, Bratz dolls were extinct for a little bit.
Yeah.
When they came back out, I remember seeing them, and it's almost like it brought back a lot of memories. And then I remember, like, in that particular foster home, we had so many Bratz dolls. Like, we were so spoiled. Like, that's why when I tell you, it was like the dream foster home.
Yeah.
Which is the sucky part about it being like that behind closed doors. Because it was amazing.
Yeah.
We had amazing holidays.
You think that's part of you why you never said anything? Because you didn't want to leave that home?
I think I just didn't understand. I just think I didn't really fully grasp it. Because once I had completely understood, the foster home after that, it didn't happen again. I guess I don't want to... in a sense, it didn't happen, but it did happen. Because I remember one night I was, like, sleeping, and I was just sleeping in a tank top and, like, my underwear. And my little brother used to, have accidents in the bed. So my foster dad would have to wake him up at night to use the restroom.
This is the second home after this one.
This was the one after this one. And this one we were in there for a while. I think it was like 2 years for this one.
Okay.
And it wasn't that bad. I will say we weren't really supervised as much.
Okay.
We kind of just we're just running around the house. Not running around the house, but like we just kind of did our own thing.
Yeah.
I would be in my room doing my own thing. But it was a good foster home, I feel like, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Until this particular incident happened. So I wake up, like I kind of like peep my eyes, and I see him standing over me as I'm sleeping. My blanket's not on me. And so I'm kind of like, okay, like, and this is like a fucking mistake or something. Like, just cover myself up. So I had grabbed my blanket and I like covered myself and just pretended to like stay asleep. Then, like, he waits, like, a second to, like, make sure if, like, I'm asleep or not. And he pulls off the blanket again. And at that point, I'm frozen. Because I'm like, okay, now I see what's happening. You know, now I kind of understand what's happening. And after that, I think he was standing there for a second. I was just frozen. I hear my little brother cry. So that he had to go back and take him from the restroom back to the bedroom. And so as he went, like I like just started bawling because I was like it's happening again, you know. But the next day, I literally told my social worker. And I was moved the next day. I think once I understood what it was, I didn't stay quiet anymore. Because I didn't understand what it was. I didn't understand it. I didn't grasp it. I think it was just, I was like, well, it's normal, you know? If this is somebody who's supposed to be taking care of me, this is the person that I call dad, like, obviously they're not going to hurt me. Yeah. Like, they take good care of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it was one of those things where it was just like, it was, once I understood it, I never allowed it again, but when they get kids like that just don't fucking understand it and are just so excited to receive love, it's like, well, it's a win-win for them. You know what I mean? So did you and your brother both get moved this time when you said something, or it was just all three of us ended up getting moved. So then after that, so then that time I ended up getting separated from my brothers. So then I ended up going to an all-girls foster home, and this was supposed to be my forever home. Her name was Sheila. She was literally like the most amazing foster home. When I tell you, when I talk about this part, it's a little crazy when I think about it, because after all that had happened, after the foster home where I was there for a few years, and then the mom picked her husband or whatever. So after that one, when I was in the one where the dad was like fucking looking at me in my underwear, I was very depressed. I was a very depressed little girl because it was so upsetting, because after all that happened, the only thing I wanted was my mom, which was the lady that was my foster mom. And I just wanted her. I wanted her, but she wanted nothing to do with me. She wouldn't accept phone calls from me. She refused to contact me. And it was like I feel like it was the most heartbreaking thing ever, because I lost one mom, And then I was losing another one at such a young fucking age, which is like so fucking confusing. I didn't understand it. I was like, why doesn't she want to talk to me? Like, I just want to talk to her like for 1 fucking second.
Yeah.
And there would be a lot of times where I would sneak the phone and I would like call her phone, but I just wouldn't say anything. I would just hang up when she said something, because I was just so scared, because I was like, I don't know why she doesn't want to talk to me, but I miss her.
Yeah.
And it was to a point where eventually she was like, okay, I'll write her a fucking letter. You know what I mean? And so she wrote me a letter. I wrote her 1 letter, and that was it. But I think that's actually fucking, that's another reason why I kind of side-eye her explanation too, is because I feel like how could you do that and not want to make sure that I'm okay after everything that I fucking did in your home?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like, okay, there's one thing that you wanted to think about the kids that were adopted already, cool, but you didn't check up on me. You didn't care to look, you know what I mean? You didn't care to keep contact.
I was your child for 3 fucking years. Yeah. Like, I sat there and I called you mom. And then the other thing that I ended up realizing as I got older was, she didn't send me with all my toys, all my Bratz dolls, all my nice clothes. She kept all that shit. She kept it for the other girl that was there. And in my eyes, I feel like if you cared about me, you would have wanted me to leave with what I had. Yes. So I at least had what I had. I remember the other foster mom was trying to get me fucking shirts. They gave me the most ugliest fucking shirts ever. And it was so upsetting, bitch, because I had Brad's shirts. Yeah. I had such cute dresses. I had a bunch of clothes, but I was also bigger than the other girl. So everything that she kept, eventually the other one was going to grow into. Yeah. So it was one of those things where it was, I asked her that too when I talked to her. I was like, why didn't you send me with all my stuff? Like, you didn't send me with my things. Like, I didn't get any of my Bratz dolls. I didn't get anything. Like, not even one. Oh, well, it's because I didn't want to overwhelm. Like, well, the social worker told me that it would overwhelm the other foster home. 1 or 2 Bratz dolls would have overwhelmed them. Yeah. My clothes would have overwhelmed them. They were literally trying to get me fucking clothes because you didn't send the appropriate clothing with me. Yes. So I feel like that stems from the anger that she felt, almost like putting the blame on me in a sense. Yeah. So after that, so when that ended up happening, in the foster home that I was in with after her, I was very depressed. I ended up going on like antidepressants, and I was fucking 11. I was fucking 11 and I was suicidal. I didn't want to be alive. I was just fucking depressed. One of the most, I feel like, in a sense, to me, I think it's like very scary to think about the fact that I used to do this. I would get like a blade and I would cut up my dolls, and then me cortaba la mano to like get some type of blood from me, and los ponía en las monas. That's like, what? Excuse me? Yeah. That's a child. You're a child.
Yeah, but I feel like it was, I don't know, it was a pain that you had, and you were trying to get rid of it. I don't know what your 11-year-old mind was thinking at the time, what that would do, but I feel like it was a type of way you were trying to cope with your pain, you know? You grew up with no guidance. No guidance, and the one time that you did have some guidance, it hurt you more because she chose him instead of choosing her kids. The guidance,
one of the guidance that I was supposed to have was the devil, and then the other guidance just didn't protect me. Yes. And that's terrifying to a child. So I feel like I was just like a very depressed like little girl. It was terrible. Like I was fucking depressed. When I moved into the all-girls foster home, I feel like everything fucking changed for me. I started like, I was still obviously depressed. Yeah. I started to take my meds, but I was in a home where I felt safe. I was in a home where I felt like there was nobody that was able to access me and hurt me. And that's when I started, I feel, in my opinion, I started blossoming. Instead of like doing the crazy shit that I was doing, I would just journal. I would write down in my journal. I would play the Wii with my foster mom. I would play on the computer. I would watch TV with her. We'd watch Bad Girls Club all the time.
And then was there a lot of other girls there?
It was just one other girl there, and then her mother lived with her as well. Oh, okay. So I loved it. It was amazing. And I always say it was supposed to be my forever home. And I loved it. I loved her. She was just so amazing. And I think I'll never forget. I think when I think about it as an adult, I think it's crazy to see how the environment completely shifted me as a child, and I was just so happy. And it was better. And then my mom was trying to regain custody.
She came out of nowhere.
So she had already signed the papers off for the adoption, but then after everything happened, she was like, okay, well, now I'm going to get my kids back. And at this point, I don't want to go back with her because I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at. I love my foster home. I also know the life. Even though I was young, I was really starting to understand things.
Yeah.
And I knew the life that she was going to end up giving me. And I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I really didn't want I loved the life that I had. I had somebody who cared about me, who constantly asked me how my day was at school after picking me up. Somebody who just made sure that I was okay. Somebody who made sure that I enjoyed the things that I was doing and helped me and like find new things to do, new hobbies and everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to leave it. I loved it. I was happy. But we ended up doing like it was a Christmas visit for 2 weeks.
With
like,
your mom?
It's a trial visit, you know.
And was it just you or the rest of your siblings too?
It was all of us.
Oh,
so
shit.
at that point, she had already had through 4 of them. She had 4 of my siblings already. So it was just 3 of us going in. So she was getting back the 3 that were still in foster care. And so when we did the trial visit, girl, it was like a few days in and I was ready to pack my shit. I did not want to be there. I did not like it. Granted, and it was the honeymoon phase. Like, she was trying to be nice. She was trying to be cool. She was trying to be cordial. But, girl, I knew.
Yeah.
Girl, that's how we are. And so I was like, I'm not going to stay here. Like, this is going to be a nice visit. I'm going to try my best, but I'm going back home. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not staying here.
Were you happy to see your other siblings? Or no?
And I enjoyed them, but I just, like, I knew that, like, none of them understood me when I was like, I don't want to be here.
Because they all wanted to be there.
They all wanted to be there. They were just kind of like, what's wrong with, like, you know, why do you want to be, like, we're finally all going to be together. That's, like, a beautiful thought until you grow up and you're like, well, like, maybe not, you know what I mean? And so as the 2-week visit comes to an end, we're going back from Lemoore to San Bernardino. And I told her, I was like, I'm not staying here. I'm going back. I was like, I'm not going to tell the judge that I want to stay with you. I'm going back. And I have to be the one to tell the judge that I want to stay with her because I'm old enough to speak for myself.
Yeah. Take another sip, girl. Take another sip.
My tia gave my mom this white chihuahua. His name was Pedro. Fucking Pedro.
Fucking Pedro is Pedro's fault,
Fucking Pedro. Bro. She gave me this fucking white chihuahua and I really wanted a fucking dog. Like, so fucking bad. And she was like, I'll let you keep the dog if you tell the judge you'll stay with me. And I was like...
So they got you at the...
Mind you, she was telling me on the right, she was like, if you don't come back, like, your grandma, she's gonna have heart problems because you're gonna break her heart. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I gotta go, girl. I gotta go my own way. But when she brought up the dog, I was like, okay, all right, we might have a deal here.
Yeah.
So I did. I went and I told the judge yes. She gave the fucking dog back to my tia after court.
Why would your mom do that? What did she win by that?
I think it was a pride and an ego thing to know that she got all her kids back. I feel like it would have hurt her ego to know, like,
that you didn't want to go back.
Yeah, and for her like siblings or her whatever tias to know, like, damn, like, her kid didn't want to go back with her. I feel like it was an ego thing. Then I also feel like, rest in peace, girl. But I feel like she didn't like the fact that my foster mom was black. And I feel like it was one of those things, you know how, like, old-fashioned Mexicans are?
Yes.
And I feel like she just hated it. Because how did you sign rights over to somebody else not that long ago? But now you're like, oh, you found this happy home? I don't want you to stay. And I was so happy. I loved it. And so after that, that's when hell started. Once we went back to Lemoore again with my mom, it was just...
So when you get put into the system, you can go anywhere. You don't stay within the same area? Because you said you were in San Bernardino?
Yeah, so, well, we were in San Bernardino area. So we would, a lot of time we'd be like in Hesperia, Victorville, like in those general areas.
Yeah, I've been over there, yeah.
But when my mom moved over here to Lemoore and got us back, that's when we came out here.
Oh, so you were in that area from the childhood.
And that's where we stayed most of the time until she decided to drop us off over here.
Oh, damn, girl. Seriously, huh?
No, literally, because it was literally like we lived with her for like 3 months, maybe 2 months, and then we were back in care again. So it was one of those things where it was like, hey girl, I'm gonna take you away from that foster home and I'm gonna put you in one you don't know. And that's, I tried so hard going back to the other one.
And they wouldn't let you?
They wouldn't let me. I remember I used my Nintendo DS to like go on Facebook, and I was messaging my social worker. I was like, please help me, I don't want to be here. And they couldn't do anything. Anything. I'm not too sure why, but they couldn't do anything, and I tried so fucking hard, and it wasn't possible. So then after that, we went back into foster. I went into...
So she just got you for Pride. She just got you guys back for Pride.
I feel like that's how I see it in my eyes, to be honest. Because I honestly feel like it was one of those things where, like, she just wanted to be able to finally be like, haha, like, I fucking did it, bitches. You know what I mean? Because she didn't, as much as she... I feel like she cared about us deep down inside. But in reality, it was hard for her because my mom was one of those moms where it's like, the man is the light of her life, and that's basically all that matters.
She had her own demons, and she let them take over. She let them take over for sure. That she forgot what her priority was.
Yeah, because I feel like there was times where I'd be like, oh, she died, like she cares about us.
Yeah,
but then I feel like that's the daughter side of me that understands that. But then when I became a mom, I was just like, that's a little questionable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'd go to the ends of the earth for mine. So it was one of those things where it was just like, I understand her, like, as a daughter, in a sense. But I can't in, like, a mother's standpoint. Because I'm just like, how did you just, like, first of all, how did you keep popping them out knowing you couldn't take care of them?
Yes.
Come on, girl. Let's be so for real.
Yes. That's some things that I would never understand too, because birth control is very much available. It's very much available. So if you want to do your thing, girl, that's fine. Go do your thing. But protect yourself. Exactly. Take care of yourself, especially if you know that you can't take care of these kids. So if you're listening, you're one of those, please get on birth control, friend. Please.
Don't do it.
Go do what you want to do. Whatever tickles your pickle, but protect yourself.
No, because I genuinely don't understand that. Because after I had my baby, I was like, I want like another 5. But I was like, okay, girl, relax. Let's take care of this one first.
Let's see how we do.
Yeah, we'll see where we go from there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I think it was a pride thing for her. So then after that, excuse me, I feel like that's when it got a little bit more interesting. When it going like back into foster. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase where they say, like, it's almost like when people go shopping for a pet, they like the puppies more than they like the older dogs. So the older that we get, it's almost like we're more unappealing to people. You know what I mean?
I feel like, because I was talking to your friend, right? Because she told me that she's a foster parent, Brie, the one that was here. And I told her that I was like, my dream has always been to adopt. That has always been my dream. I don't care if I don't get to have any. Now I do. I never wanted to give her, but now that I've been with Cyber for so long, and I'm like, we're thinking about like maybe like creating a family, I'm like, you know what? I do want to experience motherhood, right? Like being pregnant. But I was like, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I'm going to adopt, right? That's one of the things I had always told Tyra. And then I told her, I was like, but then, because I try to put myself in those shoes, right? I try to put myself in like, what if I wasn't in the foster care? Or what if I didn't have my parents and I grew up in the system and no one ever adopted me? Like, that sucks. It's a shitty feeling. Like, everybody wants a home. Everybody wants a loving home. Yeah. So I try to put myself in those shoes, and I hate that feeling. Like, you know, and I'm like, why? There's so many kids in this world that need a home, and this world is fucked up already.
There's so many.
So that's why I want to do it. But then I think about it, and I'm like, I feel bad not wanting an older kid. Like, and the only reason for that is because low-key I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared because, again, they do come with their own traumas. Some of them are super rebellious. It's hard to shape them and to have to be like have manners, respect, you know, like. No,
because sometimes it can be scary if you don't know how to handle certain situations.
Yes,
they can get out of hand because that's what they've seen. Yes. So if they start losing their shit, and if you don't know like what to do, it can become dangerous. Yes, as well, you know what I mean.
Yes, and that's the reason. But then I feel like shit knowing that I don't want an older one. I want a younger one because I'm scared of that, you know? Not because they're not appealing. It's just because I'm scared. Because it's easier to shape a younger one.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I feel like that's where it stems from for a lot of people. Yeah. And it stems from the fact where it's just, as like the teenagers, we come in and our mind is already made up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so fucking hard to like finally get through to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took a long time before somebody finally got through to me. So, but because I was already older, I was just like, well, I know a lot. So I don't know why anybody feels like they need to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's very understandable. But that's unfortunately how it is.
Yeah.
And it is like that because I don't want to say we give ourselves that reputation, because I was bad as fuck. I would run away. I was doing the X, Y, and Z's. Like I wasn't that bad, but I was bad.
Yeah.
You know, I was running around doing shit I wasn't supposed to, and it's stressful to deal with as a parent of somebody. Like, oh, like you're fucking running away, so now I don't know where the fuck you're at. I don't know if you like ate today. I don't know if you slept today. I don't know what's going on with you today. Like, it's very stressful, and it's not for the weak.
Yeah.
It's not for the weak, because it's like I couldn't even do it.
Yeah.
I'm a former foster youth, and the idea of adopting, I feel like it's so beautiful, but I almost feel like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, especially with the older kids. I feel like I'm either gonna misguide you, or you're probably like you're gonna scare me. Like, I'm gonna go to jail.
So then it was hard to place you now. Yeah. You're older.
So it was a little bit harder. So then after my mom, the first one was like whatever, but then we didn't last too long in there. We ended up getting moved because my brothers were just acting fools. Then after that, I think we got separated. So it was my older brother by himself, and then me and my younger brother. And in this next foster home, bitch, her name is Ruby, Miss Ruby. She was one of those greedy ass foster parents. Like, you weren't allowed in her fucking kitchen. She wasn't gonna feed you no home cooked meal. She was gonna give you a frozen fucking meal with a fucking bag of chips.
Bitch, you get paid fucking money. You can at least give them fucking catering food or something.
And you know that if we ever wanted snacks, we had to use our fucking $7 of allowance to fucking get snacks at the Dollar Tree. She wouldn't allow us. She wouldn't provide snacks. That wasn't like a thing that she did. It was just your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're done. And she would drop us off at the recreational center damn near all fucking day. And we would just, like, be wandering around on the south side, like, just doing our own thing. Going back and forth from there to the library.
And then she would just pick you guys up?
By the end of the day, whenever she was done doing whatever she was doing, whenever it was closed. But she was very verbally abusive. Like, she was a POS in my eyes.
Fuck you, Ruby.
Yeah, she's lucky she moved out of state, because I was trying to track her down.
She's lucky she's not here anymore.
No, I think she moved out.
I think she knows. I think she left for a reason.
No, I think she did too, because I feel like one thing that I will say is, like, when it comes to fostering, when you're a piece of shit to kids and when you're fostering, we're not going to forget you.
Yes.
And granted, I'm not one of the crazier ones, so it's like one of those things where I would have loved to like pull up on her and be like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're going to jail, and I hope you have a shitty day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going about my day. But there's other people that are fucking crazy, so it's like, you know, it's a little bit scarier. But I think it's crazy to do that to kids thinking they're not going to grow up.
Yeah.
Like, and then when they start looking for you, why you not trying to post up?
Yeah. you wanted a punky kid.
Yeah. But now you don't want to post up. You know what I mean? So that was like with her, where she was just a POS. And eventually with her, I just kept running away, and eventually they took me out. And then after that, I went to another foster home that was very short-lived. It was literally, I think I want to say like 2 weeks. Then after that, I went to my first group home, which was like the most scariest fucking thing ever. And my first...
Group homes is for older kids, right? Like...
No, group homes can be... I think the youngest I've ever seen is 10 in a group home.
But group homes is a bunch of other personalities.
Yeah, so it's basically, a lot of times, it's a household of 5 other girls. So it would be me and like 5 other girls, so 6 girls total. Okay. And then we would have like staff that like stay, like they rotate. Oh, okay. So then like it's almost like I like to say like a step before juvie is the way that I would say it, but it's way nicer because I wouldn't say so, because the first one that I went to was in Visalia, and it was a Christian group home. And they were so fucking stingy, bro. Really? They would feed us food that was donated, and it would be fucking moldy. They would scratch off the fucking expiration dates. we were not allowed to go to public school because that just was like, we just weren't allowed to. We would have to go to school on like campus. I think I ended up having to go to community school because I was too young for them to put me in independent studies. So they put me in a community school that was in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I couldn't run away. And I've never, like, it's not because I had to be in a community school, but it's just like, they're like, well, this is the one you're going to be at. You can't run away from it. It's in the middle of nowhere. You're going to be fine there. So I would go there. We would not go on outings at all. The only time we went on outings was on Sunday to go to church. And bitch, I was there because we got to go out. So I was always there.
Yeah, like, take me.
No, literally. So I was always there. It was one of those things, too, where I feel like a lot of the girls would go crazy because they didn't take us out. They didn't do anything with us. They just expected us to just exist.
Yeah.
We literally had alarms on our windows and our door. I mean, I get it. But we were not even allowed to, like, step outside and go get some fucking fresh air because then you're running away. Like, it was a really shitty, like, group home. The only thing I will say, there were some staff that were, like, really cool. And, so that made it a little bit better.
So there's, like, no parent there. There's just staff.
It's just staff, yeah. Those are just staff members. So, like, every house has, like, different people that come in. So, like, there'll be, like, one girl at, like, they'll switch, like, one at a time, most of the time. I've only been in a few group homes where it's, like, a few people at a time. But most of the time, it's, like, one at night and then, like, a few during the day. Okay. But, like, always one at night. So they just have, like, a little office inside of the house. So.
And how do you end up in a group home when they can't place you in the home?
Yeah, so for me, it was because there was nobody that was willing to take me in. Like, because when they called, they have to tell them, like, okay, well, this is a brief summary of this child. So when they were calling people, it was like, oh, well, she's a runaway. She doesn't listen. She's grown as fuck. She's bad as hell. So, like, a lot of people were just like, no. So they were like, well, this is going to be your first fucking group home. And so that was the first group home I ever went to. And it took a while for me to be finally able to leave that one because they would put in, like, reports to make it seem like I wasn't fucking behaving and I was, like, on top fucking notch behavior. But they were trying to make me stay longer. I was only supposed to be there for 6 months. They ended up staying for, like, 8 months. Oh. But by that time, my social worker, I already had a home to go to. One of my old foster parents was like, I'll take her back in. Okay. So they were I was already having visits with them and everything. So I was getting ready to go back with them. And so at this point, my social worker was like, hey, like, is it almost time? And they were just like, well, she's doing this. And I explained to her, I was like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm literally, like, I'm doing good. Like, I don't know, like, what they're talking about. Like, it was fucked up. And so then after that, my social worker kind of just, like, was like, okay, you know what? She pulled a one on them. And basically, she told them, she was like, well, she's being moved to another group home since she's not making any progress here. Because that's what they kept telling her. Yeah. And so she's moving to another group home. I was going back to my foster home. And I knew that. I will never forget, I called her and I was like, hey, any update on, like, what's going to happen? And she's like, I'm on my way to go. Don't say anything. I'm on my way to go pick you up. You're going back already.
And why wouldn't they want you to move? Because they get more money?
They get a lot of money. Group homes get a shit ton of money. That's why it used to make me mad that they were so fucking stingy, bro. The motherfucking coons. They had their RV parked outside of their fucking house. They'd be taking trips to fucking Hawaii.
We Christians, huh?
Yeah, that's why I struggle. I'm a very big believer in God, but I feel like a lot of people use that as a fucking cover up, and this was one of those places. God is everybody's cover up.
And sorry, God.
I hate it. I hate that it was literally one of those things where there's like, oh, it's great, it's a Christian, which a lot of us were calling fucking licensing every fucking day. And eventually did get shut down. I didn't get to see it when I was there, but it eventually did get shut down. I think they still run something right there because they'd be stalking it sometimes. But it was just one of those things where it's just like, it's greedy. It's greed because there's a lot of money that comes from it. Yeah. And for you guys to just, like, treat us like fucking animals is, like, fucking insane. Like, you're just caging us, you know? So then after that, I literally was, like, so fucking excited. I was like, well, I'm fucking leaving. I remember I said bye to everybody. I was like, I'm leaving. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. And I was just so excited. They already had my stuff ready. And then I just left. And then I went back to that foster home. And that one was good. But then eventually, it was one of those things where it's just like, you could feel when somebody puts favoritism over somebody that's blood related to them, versus not.
Yeah,
and it was one of those situations. So then after that, I was like talking to my social worker, and I was like, "Can I just go with my brother, my older brother?" And I ended up like moving to his foster home. Okay. So then I went from that one to that one. Okay. That one, my brother ended up moving, I think, a few months after I was in there because I think they had, like, some type of altercation. I don't remember what it was. But he ended up getting moved, and I was still there. And I liked this one because I got to do whatever the fuck I wanted. Yeah. Like, there was no supervision. I literally did whatever the fuck I wanted. And so it was fun until I had, like, an incident where I tried to, like, come in. And it was so fucking embarrassing, bitch, because why did I post it on Snapchat? Why did I say goodbye? Like, I was like, this is it.
You were leaving? Oh, no.
I was leaving. Yeah, I was like, this is it, you guys. Goodbye. This is last time you hear from me. It was not the last time they heard from me. And the next day, I was just so...
Why, did somebody report you? Did somebody report it because they saw your snap or no?
No, it's because I was trying... I think I posted, like, pills or something. Oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, this is it. And me tomé muchas. Like, I took so many. I don't even remember how many, but it was so fucking
God said, girl.
No, bitch, tell me why there was the fucking vitamins.
God had your back, girl. God said it's not your time. Here's some vitamins.
They were fucking vitamins.
He said, take your vitamins and go to sleep.
I'll never forget because I seen my foster mom's bags of meds and I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to do it right now. Bro, when I was in the hospital, I was like, so what did I take? You just took vitamins. But I was still throwing up porque me tomé muchas. It was a lot of vitamins. So I had to throw some of them up. And I just remember the next day feeling so fucking embarrassed. And I was just like, damn, And I was just like, okay. Like, I went to school and then I almost fought somebody because I heard it talking about it. And I was so mad. And I was like, bitch, I'll fuck you up right now. And I was so upset. So when I went home, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go back to school tomorrow. So the next day, I literally told my foster mom, I was like, I just need like a day. Like, to just... And honestly, in my eyes, like, if I'm a foster parent and my child tries to commit, like, let's take a mental health day. Yeah. Let's try to figure out what the fuck is going on. Because how did we get here? Mm-hmm. Girl, I told her I was like, I feel like I can't go to school. I just feel like it's hard right now. Pack your bags up. I'm taking you to the office right now. And that's what she did. I packed my bags and she dropped me off at the CPS office. And then I went to another group home. And that was my second group home. So
why? There's no explanation?
Because I didn't want to go to school that day. And that was it. She was like, pack your bags and I'm taking you to the office. And it's so crazy because after that, she would always be on my Facebook like, hey, baby, miss you. Bitch.
Get the fuck out. Like, where is your heart? Like, someone just tried to take their life under your care and they're not allowed to have feelings. You were not allowed to feel the way you were feeling, to stay home, to think about, like you said, a mental health day. Yeah. Some of us need it sometimes because work is too stressful, because life is just coming at us, because life be coming at us, And we all need that day. But for her, where was her compassion at? Where was her heart at?
Exactly. And that's what, when after like a while of seeing her on my face, I was like, I don't think you really care about me. Yeah. Because there's no fucking way. Like, I feel like just as a person, if somebody goes through something like that, you're going to want to be there for them. Yeah. You're going to want to see, like, what the fuck is going on. But she was one of those foster moms where it's like, you do your thing, I'm going to do my thing. You need to eat, let me know. I'll go get you some food, whatever. Yeah. But, like, it was one of those things where I was kind of, like, alone. And at that time, I was just, like, wilding out. I was just doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. So it was so easy to fall into, like, a pattern like that. Yeah. So after that, it was my second group home I ended up going to. Okay. And it's so crazy, actually, because before that, they had put me in a foster home overnight because they couldn't find one that day because it was very last minute. Yeah. And so I remember they put me in a foster home for just a night. And this is one of the things that I hate hearing. I think is why I listen to shows or listen to sounds in the background when I sleep. I hate hearing the sound of an AC just going. Because I'll never forget just like laying in that bed and everything was dark. And then I just hear the AC. And I was just like, this is so fucking weird. I'm just like in a stranger's home. And I'm just like laying here. and like I'm gonna leave tomorrow and I'm gonna go somewhere else. Like it's such a like it's like one of those feelings where it's like it's such an eerie feeling for me.
Yeah, you know, I get it. It's a trigger. It's a type of a trigger. Yeah,
like I can't do it. Like I have to have some type of sound. Even in like the baños, you know, the one like cuando estás cagando.
Yeah,
I can't have that one on when I'm in there. I can't. I'll turn it on when I walk out. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, let's say if I'm walking past and I hear it, I'll turn it off because it's just like almost, I'm like, it's like I feel something staticky in my brain that's happening. You know what I mean? So then after that, fuck, where were we? You
ended up in another group home?
Oh, yeah. So then the second group home. This group home was kind of cool. It was like in the middle. It was like decent. You know, they weren't that bad. I loved some of the staff. The only thing that I will say is that it was really hard at this point because, like I said, it's hard to condition yourself to the things that you have to be with. I hated the fact that I couldn't have my phone. I hated it. But I was like, okay, whatever. I gave it my phone. So at this point, it was just like one of those things where I knew that I was going to lose that because the first group home, I wasn't allowed to have phones. We weren't allowed to watch TV. We weren't allowed to have makeup. So it was like
prison.
Basically, yeah. I'll never forget it, dude. In the first one, I had my makeup box and they were like, we need to check it. And I was like, no, you guys are going to take it from me. And then she was like, no, we just need to check it and I'll give it right back to you. I was like, you promise? She's like, I promise. Bitch, she never gave me the box back. I didn't see that box back until 8 months later. I'll never fucking forget getting that box back. I was like, oh my God, this is nice. Expired ass makeup.
You're getting ronchas.
No, oh my God, man, this is nice. So in the second group home, it was pretty cool. It wasn't that bad. I feel like it was decent. There was at one point where I finessed myself getting a phone, getting my phone back because I was like, man, I need my phone because like I like music and it helps me therapeutically wise. So, and I told them, I was like, I have a lot of music on my phone. I could just use it like an iPod. It's not like I have Wi-Fi. So they were like, oh, you know, okay, valid. Just let us go through your songs and let us delete the ones that are inappropriate. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So they did that. I eventually got a hold of the Wi-Fi.
And you re-downloaded stuff.
No, dude, I was literally like, I would literally just be like on my Facebook. I would be on my Snapchat. I would be texting my friends. And I didn't get caught for a while until one of the staff caught me giggling at my phone. And she was like, that's suspicious. And I remember she was like, I think she was texting. I was like, no, I was playing the tiles game. And you remember back in the day, tiles game? I was like, I was playing the tiles game. Look, you got to go like this. It's not what it looked like. So with that one, it wasn't that bad, but I didn't like some of the staff. Some of the staff were like a little bit just like mean. Mm-hmm. Like if they were having a fucking bad day, it was like, oh, you're a hoe. Like that's why you're in the position they are. And they were just like verbally abusive sometimes. So eventually I ran away from that one. Yeah. And I ran away twice before they finally were like, okay, you're gone. So then I moved out of that one. And then after that one, I went into my third group home, which I was obsessed with. I'll never, MVP Rob, he runs the best group homes. I don't know if he still does. He's a stoner. That's why he does. That's why.
He's like, I can relax.
No, bro, I'll never forget one time when he came to the group home and like, I saw his dog, he had a Bob Marley shirt. Then when we walked up to his car, girl.
We're like, we know.
I was like, I know what that is. But this was a really good group home. Like he was making a lot of money off of these group homes, but how he was also reinvesting into them. Mm-hmm. We would go on outings every single fucking day. I didn't have another group home that did this. Whether it was for us going for ice cream, whether it was going for yogurt, going to the lake, going to the park, going to the movies, every day we had a fucking outing. As long as you were meeting up with your program, you were gonna go on an outing. This was my favorite fucking group home. I feel like it was the best group home. Like I loved it. And it was good because you could also work up to getting a phone, so I had a phone. And I never really got in trouble in this one. Except for the fact that I think the reason why I made it out was because I was smoking weed. I was smoking weed in this one. And basically what happened was I had a roommate that was 18. So when they're 18, they can, go out and for an hour or two without being supervised. Yeah. And so at first I had her meet up with my plug that I met at school, and I'd be like, okay, my edibles for me. But then this bitch started turning into a fucking snitch. So I was like, this isn't getting very trustworthy, wife. Yeah. One day I'm in the office with one of the staff, and she's just showing me some of her pictures, and I'm like, oh, is that a plant? Is that what I think it is? And she's like, yeah, those are mine. She's like, don't tell nobody, these are mine, though. And I was like, do you sell it? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, what, can I start buying it off of you? So I started buying it off of my staff. And I would get money from all of my roommates. I would literally be like, hey girl, like, you know, we'd be hella cool. You think it should be like $2, you know what I mean? So I would get like good $10-$20.
Yeah, back then with that was more than
amazing, girl. I was lit, especially because I wouldn't smoke that much. Yeah, I would literally just wake up in the morning before I went to school, and as I was changing, I would jump out the window, light up my fucking blunt, take like 1 or 2 hits, come inside, immediately take off my fucking clothes, put on my other clothes, get my perfume on. Incognito. At night, I would do the same thing. And when the staff would change, because they change at a certain time, so I started working off of their schedule. And at night, I would do the same thing. And the only time I got caught was one time when one of my the roommate, the snitch. Yeah, I was outside getting high, and she was like, She goes outside to the living room. She tells the staff, she's like, "It smells like weed. Did you think it smells like weed?" And then
what a bitch.
Yeah, she's a fucking bitch, dude. She was a bitch. Cassandra.
I hope you like hit like, your fucking toe crazy. In the corner of the fucking couch.
Exactly. So I'll never forget. The crazy part was it was my plug.
The one she snitched on you with.
Yeah. So she's like, obviously she has to play it off. So she comes and she's like, "I need you to come to the office." And I was like, "Fuck, what did I do?" So then I go inside the office. She's like, "She fucking snitched on you. She snitched on you. You need to be careful with what you tell her. Don't be telling her shit because she fucking snitched on you." And I was like, that's wild. So she like I acted like I got in trouble, obviously. Because I wasn't supposed to be doing that. But I didn't get in trouble for that one because I don't think she like wrote me up or anything because it was just suspicion. Yeah. It wasn't until she finally caught another staff that didn't know. And then the staff caught me as I was coming inside the window. Bitch, I cried so hard because I was like, no. I was like, I made on such good reputation. They took my phone, everything. I was crying high as fuck.
You're like, fuck, you killed my high.
Dude, I was like, no. What the craziest part, bitch, why was I crying to the snitch? She was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No."
They just fucking took my phone away.
She was my fucking roommate. That's why it was so hard. She was my fucking roommate. I couldn't stand her. Mm-mm.
Oh my god. She was
my fucking roommate. So that group home was like, it was a really good one. That's the one I also got in my first fight in. So I learned how
it was a good one. I also got down.
That was a good one. And so I feel like that one was a great one. And then after that, I went into my last foster home. Mm-hmm. That I was in until I aged out, but I was like back and forth because I would go with like my little boo thing, and I was like starting to live with them. Mm-hmm. So,
that was, and your last group home, you were able to leave on that
one? No, I did leave it eventually. Before I think I left that one when I was 16. Oh, okay. So after 16, I never went to another foster home or group home except for the one that I went to. I went to one more foster home, and that was my last one. Fun fact, that was actually. I had an ex that I had in middle school, mm-hmm. and I had got really close to his mom, and his mom knew like a lot about me because I've never been too shy to like share like my experiences. Yeah. So I feel like with her, she got really close to me, like kind of like based on that. Yeah. So we were really close, and even when we broke up, we were still like really close. So remember that time that I told you I tried to attempt, and the foster mom was like, yeah. You know, so when that had happened, once I started like throwing up, and I kind of started getting scared because I was like, maybe I did it. Yeah. I called her and I was just like, I think I fucked up because my foster mom, I don't know where the fuck my foster mom was at, somewhere in church, I don't know where. So I called her and she was literally down the street. So she had came and she took me to the hospital and she was there with me the whole time. I don't even think my foster mom ever showed up to it. I don't even fucking remember that. That's crazy to think about right now. I don't even remember that. So then after that, when I told her I was getting moved, she was like, "Oh, well, is there anything I can do? Like, this is like fucking sad. Like, I hate the fact that they're like doing this to you, you know?" And I was like, "Well, there's really nothing you can do. Like, you know, to become a foster parent, it's like a process, but it's okay. I'm just gonna go to like a group home. Like, I'll be fine." As I was in the group home, she was doing the process to become a foster parent. So then she became a foster parent, and then I went to go be with her. So my ex tried to get rid of me, and it didn't work.
So you just grew up there with her?
I was there for like I was 16 going on 17 already. Okay. When that was like happening already. So I I wish I could say that it was like one of those things where it was like happily ever after and that was the end. But I was already older and I think I was still a little bit more rebellious to where it was like, she wanted a daughter, I gave her one, and it was real Mexican. Because I was like going off and like doing my own thing, and I was just like, I think I was being a teenager for the first time in my life in a sense. So I feel like I was there for until I was like 18, like on and off, because I would go on and about. But that was my last one. That was my...
Do you still talk to her to this day?
I mean, it's like on and off a little bit, if I'm being honest. It's just one of those things where I almost feel like I feel like we tried to for like the first few years. I think it's almost getting to a point where I think we kind of both, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of feel like I'm almost like intruding sometimes. And I hate that. But then I also feel like with her, like, I don't like to express that because I almost feel like, it almost feels like it's going to be forced. Or it feels forced sometimes. Like, I'll hear, like, every now and then it's like, oh, well, hey, like, how are you doing? And it's like, well, now you remember that you know? And I get it because it's like, I'm the same way where I just, like, disappear sometimes. Yeah. But I also know for a fact that if it was any of the other babies, like, it would be completely different. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I think it solidified it more when I had my kid. Because I feel like when you have a kid and you're pregnant, that's when your connection with your mom is supposed to grow more. Yeah. In a sense, because that's the way I still see her in a sense. Yeah. But I feel like when you have a kid and then, like, they don't help, like, they don't invest no time into it. They don't pay attention to it. They don't seem to care about it. Yeah. It almost, like, it's, like, the most heartbreaking part. It's almost like, okay, that's, like, the biggest part of me. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's almost one of those things where, like, I still love her and I know she loves me. But I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like, you know. Yeah, it's kind of like growing apart. What it is. Yeah, you know, it happens. Yeah. But I was very grateful for her to pulling me out of that because it was, if not, I don't know where I would have ended up after that.
So then after that, you eventually just... What time do you get out of foster system? At 18, huh?
So 18, I aged out at 18, and at 19 is when I started social media. Oh, okay. So literally, like, a year after that, I was starting to do social media.
Do they help you, like, move on your own?
Yeah, so with CPS, what I like about it a lot, and I feel like is amazing, is the fact that they do offer programs for youth who age out. So, like, for example, if you age out and you don't have somewhere to stay, like, for example, if you do have somewhere to stay, let's say I'm like, I'm going to be living over here with Iromi. Yeah. I put down your address, let them know that I'm living here. This is my place of residence. They're going to be sending me a check here every month to help me with expenses. Yeah, you know what I mean? And a lot of the time it's like an $800, $900 check. Okay. Which is not too crazy, but at the end of the day, when you're barely starting out and you don't have anything, that's the support you probably would have got from your parents. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you either do that one, or you can also do the independent living program, which is where they put you in an apartment. If you don't have a kid, you have a roommate. They put you in with a roommate. If you have a kid, you end up having your own space. But basically, they put you in an apartment. You don't have to worry about the rent. They give you a small check, and you just have to worry about a few of the bills. But it's very, like, I feel like it's an amazing program for people to be in. Yes. Because a lot of the times when we age out, there is no support. Yeah. We don't have our parents. You know what I mean? We don't have somebody to call and be like, hey, like, I need this, I need that. Yeah, that's not possible. Like, you better figure it out yourself. Yeah. And I feel like that's, like, the scariest part. Like, I think, like, last year was, like, I feel like in my world, I've been adulting for my whole fucking life. But when I really started adulting was 18, 19. And the hardest it got, I think, was, like, last year. And I just remember just feeling like, fuck, I just wish I had a fucking mom to just call and just, like, they're gonna be here and try to help me with whatever the fuck I need.
Did you ever talk to your mom again after the second time that she left you guys?
So after that, I still talk to my mom, but after I had my baby, I think I kind of, like, cut her off. Okay. And then I didn't talk to her anymore.
So she was in and out of your life still, like even though you were going from group homes or foster, you still had some type of communication with her?
Yeah, like I feel like I was still very like, oh, like that's my mom, like I love my mom, like just want to talk to her. I was very defensive over her too. Just crazy. But I feel like as I got older, I realized like, okay, like I don't think I want this relationship. It also became one of those things where she wouldn't reach out to be like, hey, how are you doing? How's everything going with you? I remember telling her, like, I started a YouTube channel. Like, it's doing really good. Oh, okay, Mija, like, that's good. But, like, you can send me some money. And then it's like, damn, girl. Like, you can't even, like fake the funk. You know what I mean? Like, it immediately goes to that. And it got to a point where it was like, at that point, I didn't have much. Like, I was barely turning 19. I was young. I was like, I didn't have much. I was working at fucking Baja Fresh, bitch. So what do you think I'm making? And so it was really hard. And then she would always like pretend to like have like traumatic things happen for us to like send her money, and then there was never a thank you, bitch. It was always like silence. And then she would hit us back up whenever she needed something else. So I just completely stopped talking to her. And then it wasn't until I want to say 3-4 years later that she ended up passing. And then I didn't give a fuck at first. I really didn't.
Well, and if you don't mind me asking, what did she get sick?
She got sick. So she ended up getting sick, and she just deteriorated just really fast. And so I didn't really give a fuck. Like I knew that there was something going on, but I think because of all the scandals that she had pulled before, I was like, for all I know, this is another one of her fucking episodes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't really care for it. And I also was kind of angry because I was like, why am I supposed to give a fuck? Yeah. When, like, you never give a fuck. Like, why is it supposed to be my concern now? Why am I supposed to stop what I'm doing to, like, try to fit? Like, no. Like, you know, I was angry. Yeah. And I refused to communicate with anybody about it. And I would get comments and stuff like that on my TikTok. People were like, oh, there's something going on with your mom. You need to go check on your mom. There were some people that were like, you're a bad daughter. Like, you're not even checking on her. Like, what's wrong with you? And it was just like, it's easy for somebody else to say that when you don't experience certain things with your parent, you know? Yeah. But it wasn't until I saw, even this didn't really trigger.
It's so easy for people to judge online because they think they know you best based off 30-second video, a 1-minute video, or something that you said one time on your life. They think they fucking know everything about you, and they try to tell you what to do with your own life sometimes in a sense, you know? And again, it's people that have never gone through this. It's people that has never experienced this. And so they're just projecting their own feelings again. People just project a lot, you know? And so them even saying that you're a bad daughter, like, you don't understand. You don't understand.
Yeah, like, you don't get it.
And I get it, like...
And I love that for them.
And some people are like, oh, at the end of the day, that's still your mom. At the end of the day, that's still your dad. Yes, but I'm so sorry, but blood don't mean shit half the time. I feel like sometimes the family that you create yourself are there more for you than your own blood, you know, like, and I believe in creating your own family. I believe in getting rid of people that are toxic, that no longer serve a good purpose in your life. And I had said this earlier to Miriam, like I recently cut someone off my life and it hurt me, but I felt like it was setting boundaries and it was just for the best, you know. And then it's just like, I don't know, just a lot of like certain things that we do things to protect our own peace. And it took me a long time to understand that. Even same thing, like I don't really have a relationship with my dad. Like my dad doesn't really know who I am, and we text here and there, but he doesn't know nothing about my life. You know, and he's not even here. He took off to Mexico, so it's like I don't even see him. You know, so. And sometimes, like, he would be like, him and my brother don't talk. And the reason why they don't talk is because they got into, like, an altercation kind of, like, over the phone. So I guess my dad was kind of mad that we wouldn't hit him up or vice versa. My brother was like, you're my dad. Yeah. You're the one that left. Maybe you should call me. And he's sitting like that. So then they haven't talked in, like, 3 years, you know? So I feel like, yes, there are parents, but they didn't act like her parents.
Yeah,
you know?
And
like
it's also...
She wasn't a mom.
Yeah, being a parent is not just a title. It's something you're supposed to prove. You know, like, it's not Like, oh, I'm your mom. Okay, well, what have you done to show that?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And being a parent is so much more than just being the creator.
Exactly.
You know?
So a lot of people were just kind of like upset about that, and I was just like, I really don't care because you guys don't understand.
Yeah.
So I still didn't care.
Know you.
Yeah, and I still didn't care. I was just kind of like, I was like in my mind like I was standing on business.
Yeah.
And so I was going off for a while, and I think I had seen some pictures on Facebook of her, and she looked. I was kind of shocked because I was like, okay, so it's real. Like, she really is in the hospital. Like, things really are happening, you know? And I still just kind of, like, would try to brush it to the back of my mind and just would try not to think about it. Like, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then my younger sister had reached out to me, and she was like, we hadn't talked in so long. Because me and her were no contact, I think, for 3 years at that time, 4 years. And so when she messaged me, she was like, I don't know how to say this, but, like, mom is dying. Like, she's literally dying. Like, I think you should talk to her. I feel like it'd be good for you. Like, you know. And then after that, I kind of messaged her, and I was just kind of like, I know what's going on, but I just, like, I feel like I like, why am I supposed to care, you know?
Yeah.
And then we kind of got into conversation, and then she ended up sending me some videos. And there were videos of my mom in the hospital. And I think when I saw those, it was one of those moments where it's like, I hate that fucking phrase. Well, that's your mom. That's your mom. That's your mom. That's your mom. But when I saw those videos, I was like, that's my mom.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like it wasn't even me, like, as an adult wise, but it was like the little girl in me that was just like almost like screaming, like, what the like, she was unrecognizable. She was weak.
Yeah.
She was like, her smile was gone. She didn't have her teeth like that anymore. She just didn't look like herself. She literally looked like she was gone. And after I saw that, I think my mind almost shifted a little bit, and I was just like, maybe I should say goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, just in case anything happens.
And say you didn't want to do that for her, but you were doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
For you to be able to move forward.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I did it 100% for.
Yeah.
So then eventually I got in contact with one of my uncles, and I was like, you know, can I video call her or whatever? So I ended up video calling her. And I think that was like a few
Where was she
days.
at? Was she here in the valley?
She was in Mexico and Sinaloa.
Oh, she was in Sinaloa.
Which made it so much harder because you can't just travel there. You know what I mean? And at that time, the cartel wars were like actually like really bad. So trying to get in there was like, I think there was at one point where my uncle was like, I can't even go to the hospital because all the roads are blocked. And, like, it was just dangerous. So imagine being somebody who's not even from there. Yeah. Trying to pull, you know, like, it was just very dangerous.
Yeah. Is that where your mom was from? From Sinaloa?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's where she was from. So that's where she was at when everything happened. So she was far as fuck. It was one of those things where it's like, even if we wanted to get to her, we really couldn't.
And none of your siblings were able to?
No, none of us. The only ones that were out there was, like, the family members that were kind of already out there.
Oh, okay.
Ya conocen allá, you know? So my uncle was over there with her, and I had FaceTime with her, and we had talked, like, for, I want to say, like, 2-3 minutes. And it was just basically a brief, like, hi, I love you. I'm sorry for everything that I've done. Like, I love you, and I just hope you know that. But then, like, the end was kind of like, why? I was the only one that didn't talk to her for as long as I did. And I think she knew that I was one of the main ones to stand on business. So, like, one of her last questions to me was, why was it so hard to get forgiveness from you? And obviously, I'm not going to tell her why at this moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like I was going through some things. Like, yeah. Don't do this right now. Yeah. And I just kind of told her, I was like, you know, like, I love you and I forgive you. And I hope that you find peace and whatever. Because at the end of the day, my mom went through a lot of trauma. So I do understand it in a sense where it's like, I know that she couldn't help it, you know? So I feel like in a sense I understand it, but I'm just like, damn, girl, like, fuck, like.
And that's the thing. We all have our own kinds of trauma, right? We all go through our own things in life. But it is up to you what route you're gonna take. You know, like, you have gone through trauma a lot. You have demons that you're constantly fighting, but you're a great mom. You know, you're not like that to your child. And she could have made that choice. Yeah. And I get it. Like, she gone through some things, but some people are weaker than others, unfortunately. And I feel like some people can take that route. You know, like people that had been SA. or people that have been mistreated by their parents, either they become the abuser or they become a better person. Mm-hmm. So it's just never know, and I think that has to do with how strong your mentality is.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I'm one of 8. 3 of them got adopted out. Like they were adopted out of the system. I always say I think that the couple that got them like hit the ballpark because they were adopting for their first time. It was, and
they adopted them together, all 3 of them.
Yeah, so it was, and the ages were, it was like I think it was maybe like 1, and then my little sister was maybe like 4 or 5, and my little brother was like 6, 7. I feel like those are the perfect fucking ages because you can really shape them. That age, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they were first getting into it, like it was their first like adoption type thing, and it was 2 girls, and so they were adopting. And the minute that they got them, they were like, "Well, this is it. We got them. We got our kids." And that girl, they were vacationing in the summer in Hawaii. I was like, "Oh, girl."
Do you keep in contact with any of your siblings?
I do with 1 now, but those specific 3 ones were closed adoption. Oh. So that means all communication was cut off. So unless like
unless they want to come and look for you,
yeah, you know what I mean, then they would be able to find us. But we aren't allowed to have their information, or like we don't know anything about them. We don't know if they got their names changed. Like we don't know any of that.
Are they allowed to tell them about you guys once they're of age, or no?
Well, yeah, they could tell them whatever they want because it was their choice to do that. Which, and I remember I was so angry about it at first, but in hindsight, I feel like it allows them to have the best possibility of having a normal childhood. Yeah. And I also feel like when you have to think about it, you have to think about it in a sense where you're trying to provide this child with a new environment, a better life, like, you know? Yeah. And so I feel like in a sense, it's one of those things where they didn't want any of that toxicity to leak into their lives. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which I understand. And I don't know, at first I was angry, but now I understand it. Yeah. And I feel like in a sense too, they did the best thing for themselves and the best things for them. And at the end of the day, if they ever want to come find us, they can. But if they decide not to, then maybe they're just better off like that. You know what I mean? It's sometimes just better off not to know. Yeah. Like, for example, me, I would never do a fucking ancestry, bitch, because absolutely fucking not. No. I do not know you from my daddy or my mom's side. No. But no. So it's one of those things where it has to be a decision that they make one day. But I remember I tried looking for them at one point, but then I realized, like, damn, like, what if looking for them almost brings back shit that they didn't even know existed? Yeah. And it's almost like I'd rather them be in peace. Yeah. And I feel like they are.
So you put them first.
Yeah. So and I feel like I'm happy for them. You know, whatever they're doing, I know it's good. The last picture I saw, one of my older brother, he was not older, but the older one. He was like in a baseball outfit. Like he looked normal as fuck. I was like, wow.
And do you know they were around here? Are they out of state or?
They were. I think they remembered that they were like from Paris, which is like over.
Oh, by Riverside.
But I think they ended up moving completely like out of state or something like that. But I love that for them. Yeah. You know, the fact, I think that couple was they were just waiting for their moment. Yeah. To just be able to build their family. And like I said, I feel like they hit the jackpot because imagine getting a baby, a toddler, and then you've got a school age kid. Yeah. Like, okay. You got the whole shebang.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you say you talked to one of your siblings right now?
I only talked to one of them.
Oh, okay.
And it's my sister. It's the one that contacted me after my mom died.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like with her, after we regained contact, I realized how much I fucking missed her. And I feel like she's the most like me out of all my siblings. We look the most like too, I feel like, in my eyes. And so it was almost like, rest in peace, mama. But it brought us back together. Yeah, you know what I mean? And ever since then, I feel like we've been trying to work on our relationship and everything. I just helped her with throwing a birthday party for my niece, and it was so amazing to be able to sit in the backyard and watch our babies play. Yeah, we were just chilling and like with the successful party. So it's nice. There's another sibling that I talk to sometimes, but it get a little rocky sometimes. Yeah, rocky. But the rest, the other 2. I completely just don't talk to at all anymore. Completely cut it off.
They all took their own route in this life.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part when we were talking about that earlier, because it's like I'm one of 8, but of one of the 5, it's crazy to see the different paths that everybody took.
Yeah.
I literally, sometimes it breaks my heart when I'm like driving and I see like a homeless person and I'm like, that's one of my siblings somewhere out in this world. And that's heartbreaking because I kind of, in a sense, understand it sometimes where I'm like, it was hard. But we had so many resources. After you age out, there's so many resources.
And that's when it comes to where, like, his mentality just wasn't as strong. And also, just exactly how you went through certain things in foster care and group homes, who knows what he went through. You know, like, what are his traumas?
There was a lot more for everybody else. You know, like, for example, when I talked to my little sister, she lived with my mom most of her life. So when she tells me some of her stories, I'm like, like that, I feel like I almost went through nothing. Yeah. So I feel like it's crazy that we are all siblings, we're related, but we all have a completely different walk of life. Yeah. And that's just how.
And it even happens when you come from parents that were together. Like me, my parents were together until I was 18. That's when they like separated, you know? But me and my brother have completely different childhoods. And we come from the same home, same parents. So imagine like you guys being separated and growing up in different homes. Of course, that's even
completely different.
Yeah, completely different childhoods.
That's why for me, when I first aged out, I kind of was like, I was one of the first ones to kind of accept like we are family, but like we aren't. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's okay. That's fine. You know, like it sucks, but it is what it is. We don't even know each other.
That's the thing. Like, that's why I say that sometimes blood doesn't mean anything because, yes, blood connects you, but it's also a relationship that makes family. It's also being there for each other and that makes a family and being supportive and just being there for one another, you know, in different ways. It can be for the smallest things, but I feel like that's what makes a true family, you know, not just blood.
I agree. And I feel like that's where I have found the most comfort in is finding my family along the way and all the people that I meet, my friends, I have one specific tia now. She's my tia. It's my baby daddy's tia, but she's more my tia now. Yeah. But she's helping with like so much. Like she's literally like, I want to get adoption papers for her to adopt me. Just for the simple fact that like, it's just one of those things where I want to have a mom. You know? Yeah. And then also it's one of those things too, like God forbid something happens to me and I'm in like a hospital bed one day, they always hit up the next of kin. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody that I feel like I don't even know to have the rights over me when I'm like in the bed, like unconscious. You know what I mean? Yeah. I want it to be somebody who I know will make sure that I'm okay and be by my side, you know? Yeah. And that's literally like my thing. So it's like I have found my people along the way. Yeah. I have my friends that I have found, you know, that have become aunts and uncles to my son. And I feel like it's not easy to have to go through stuff like that. Yeah. But if you allow yourself to find the goods in it, you'll be okay. Yeah. But if you're just looking for the fucking negative, well, bitch, guess what? It's really fucking cold. It's really negative in here.
Really dark.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's really up to you. It's completely up to you. Yeah. And that's how I feel like that's how I've always felt, even at a really young age, where it's just like, I mean, I can be a piece of shit. Yeah. But do I really enjoy it? Does that feel good?
That's not you.
Yeah, like I don't want to make people feel like that. Yeah. Like I know what that feels. You don't want to make people feel like that. So I feel like it's blood is not always thicker than water, and that it is what it is. But you can always find your home in other people.
You can always find happiness in this world. This world is so big. You can find happiness.
You just have to put yourself out there a little bit. You know what I mean?
Be open-minded.
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean? And just lead with good intentions. I feel like that's like the most important thing in my eyes.
So then you became a mom.
Yeah, so now I'm a mother, and he's grown. He's in college.
Imagine.
So he's 5 now. He's really big, and that's another reason why like I understand my mom as like a daughter, but I don't understand her as a mother. Yeah. Because for the past 5 years, although CPS took him, it's been one of those things where it's like I've enjoyed every single fucking milestone. It's one of those things where I'm excited to celebrate his milestones. I'm excited for him just to experience life. I'm excited for him to see him experience life. He has cousins he has fucking cousins. Like, he's growing up with cousins. That's privilege.
No, it is. Some people don't.
They don't have that. Yeah. So I love the fact that I feel like I'm trying to give him everything that I didn't have.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's happening, and I feel like that's like the best part. But that's also why I keep it so private, is because it's the best part, and people like to ruin good things.
Yes.
So that's mine. And only mine.
And only hers, okay? So quit talking fucking shit over here.
For real.
And one thing I'm gonna say though, I have seen some of the comments like Maria saying that people just assume her life. Quit doing that shit. Don't assume. Just if you're gonna watch her, be supportive, be there. And if you're not, go worry about you. Go take care of your life. Go do something more productive than just assume or be mean or just say comments that are so irrelevant. Not much. Nobody asked for them. And if you're so miserable, maybe like check yourself. Maybe there's something internally going on. Maybe you just need some healing yourself, but you're projecting. So that's that. And
it's also like, why the fuck do you think you're entitled to everybody's fucking business? Bitch.
Exactly. And one thing I'm gonna say is that you guys can say whatever you guys want about Maria Latina, but she's gonna let you guys just run with it, honestly.
Yeah, I do.
She's gonna let, even if you guys are completely wrong, she's gonna let you guys run with it.
Because at the end of the day, we can't win or we can't lose. But
and you don't know anyone in this
and also the only person I need to impress and the only person I need validation from is my son.
Yes.
And granted, he's does drag me sometimes, but he says I'm a good mom.
He approves.
And he's one of those kids where he loves to be home. He constantly tells me I love my home, and that just allows me to know that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. And I'm giving him a secure space. Yes. Granted, maybe too secure because he has a big attitude.
I wonder where he got it from, Matt.
Some shit he be saying, I was like, man, my mom would have thrown the heel at me already. So I that's the only person I need validation from, and I get it every day.
No, kids are freaking ruthless, dude. Yeah. They speak the truth even if it hurts, but they just speak the truth.
No,
dude. Put you in your place.
I forgot what he told me the other day that I felt so offended. I was like, excuse me? I'm kind of like her. Like, that was like kind of mean. And then he also, like, now when they get their own personality and they start to like mimic the things that you teach them. Like, for example, I always tell him like, oh, like you can't play with this because it's not for kids, it's for adults. I was trying to use his tablet one time because I didn't have my trap phone, so I was like, I need a tablet.
And he said,
like, the tablet is not for big kids, it's for babies. I was like, could I just use it real quick? No. I was like, oh, stop. But I love that because he's very expressive and he's very like vocal. Yeah. Although it can be frustrating sometimes, I love it because I feel like when kids are able to express themselves, it allows you to know that they also feel safe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're not scared to speak like their piece. Yes. Like, he's gonna tell me off. He don't give a fuck, Keisha.
Give a fuck, Keisha.
and if I'm like, you want a spanking? Yeah. I don't know what that is. He's like, bring it, girl.
He's like, girl, you never done that. Relax. Well, with that being said, I think I just want to say that I'm sorry that you had a different childhood. You know, I wish that you would have grown up in a better environment, better home, and I wish your mother would have been a better person. And for you, you know, everybody deserves to have guidance and a good mother in their lives. And I'm sorry that you didn't have that. I'm gonna start crying for you.
Oh, stop. I love you.
I'm so sorry, and but I'm glad that you're in a better place. And
I'm so cry. You can make me cry. You make me emotional too. I'm a gangster.
Gangsters don't cry.
I'm a PIMP.
But you're here today. You have a kid, and you're an amazing mom, and you can like speak for other people. And thank you for sharing your story, by the way.
Made me so emotional. I'm gonna have to hug after this. No, it is. I feel like it's a wild roller coaster, but I feel like it's what's made me who I am today. feel like it's why I try to spread nothing but happiness. And I just try to be the person that I am, because there's a lot of fucked up shit. You never know what people are going through, you know?
Exactly.
A lot of people go through a lot of shit behind closed doors, and we don't see it because who wants to fucking show it, you know?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people want to go. It's hard, too, because then a lot of people want to have their opinions about it. But I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on your podcast.
No, you're welcome.
And talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
And then also listening, because you were a very good listener. So I really,
thank you.
That was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, though. I know that for some people it's not as easy, so I appreciate it. And thank you for wanting to do this podcast with me.
Of course.
But
now we're going to get stoned.
Now let's get into this motherfucking... Oh my God, it's 12:30
Oh, yeah, my
already?
Taurus, huh?
Yes, let's do it real quick. All right. For the ones that don't know, it runs from April 19 to May 19. Okay. And then I know you guys are going to watch this like maybe in 2 weeks from now. But today is February 25th. So your tip of the day is let your imagination lead the way. And I feel like you have to have imagination for your TikToks.
You're like, I've seen your imagination a few times.
Girl, very creative.
That's me.
Okay, so it says, today, the Aquarian moon brings a refreshing sense of curiosity that encourages you to embrace new ideas and perspectives. You may find comfort in unconventional themes or conversations that expand your thinking beyond the usual routines. This day is perfect for exploring social connections or diving into creative projects. The energy supports originally, so don't be afraid to express your unique point of view or engage in stimulating discussions with others. As you navigate today, remember to remain open-minded and adaptable. Challenge may arise, but they can lead to growth. They can lead to growth if you approach them with sense of exploration. Trust your instincts and don't shy away from innovation.
That's so crazy, the social part, how it said to like, just what did it mean, like go out and like explore?
To me it meant like, yeah, like just
that's crazy, because right? Look at what we've been doing.
She's out of her house.
Yeah, I mean, I got new friends.
She got new friends. She's out of her house. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, did you feel like you connected with that? In some ways, yeah. And I feel like the creative part is so much her, because now she's doing creative and like creating some like designs on her head, but like her makeup,
I do the whole nine.
Yeah, okay. Her makeup is amazing. You guys should go check her out.
I can be sexy or questionable. Which one?
I'm gonna leave her Instagram and her TikTok down below in the description. So go ahead and follow her. Go check her out. She does amazing makeup. And if you want to see her puffing and puffing, that's on Instagram. Okay. If you want to try some of the things that she be trying on there.
It's real fun on there.
Anything else you want to add before we go, because they've been waiting for us?
I think that's it. I think this was I feel like we talked for so long, but not so long. I don't feel like it was that long.
It goes by fast.
Yeah,
right?
It does. I feel like when you're really indulged in a converation,
we did an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Sorry, Syra.
My bad.
She's gonna have to edit this.
Sorry, honey.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, thank you again, Latina, for being here. I appreciate it. Of course. Now we're just going to go chill. Mm-hmm. Again, thank you guys so much for watching Gossip and Guidance. As always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this podcast. If there's anything else you guys would want Latina to talk about, maybe we can bring her back for a part 2.
I'm next door.
Yeah. She's not far. Okay. She can come back. Mm-hmm. And let me know, if you guys found that this relatable, if it was helpful to you. I really like to read the comments. Every time you guys let me know every story that you guys hear, how relatable it is to some of you guys. I really appreciate that. And as always, don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Ding, 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 ding.